welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here because I feel like I have so much to talk with you, and it's going to be super interesting to just talk. I feel like everyone knows you in town. Like, you're the face of the Riverside Farmers Market 100%. And it's like, if you go to the farmers market, you'll see you there and running and just like...
They like look for my hat. I wear that hat all the time. Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, whatever you want to do your thing. I trust you.
Okay. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself in case someone doesn't know who you are already?
Yeah, just like an introduction to the...
Introduction, okay. Yeah.
My name is Emma. I am the director of the Riverside Farmers Markets. I have been running it since late 2023. I do that. I'm also a full-time farmer. I work for the Desert Farming Initiative and Reno Food Systems. So I'm pretty involved in local agriculture, the whole local business scene, and yeah, happy to be here.
Nice. So Reno Food System is the one on Mayberry, kind of?
Yeah, it's like a really cool like nonprofit urban farm, community garden, teaching farm. Really cool. Most of the food we grow is for donation. We do a lot of workshops for the public. Everything's free. Lots of like yoga classes.
Can you invite me? I want to teach a workshop
there.
there.
You should come to one of the yoga classes.
Oh,
it's really fun. And they're like Wednesday nights, and then we do like meditation in the orchard as well. But yeah, Reno Food Systems is a really special place. I love it.
Okay, I want to get involved with that.
Yes, check it out. Their volunteer hours are cool too. But yeah, you should check it out.
Okay, we'll do. And then I feel like one of like, I admire you a lot, but I feel like, because you're like everything that I can never be. You're literally like...
That's how I feel about you! We balance each other out nicely.
We fill out our like gaps.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're so good with people at the farmer's market. You're like always so nice, and it's like under pressure, and like it's a sad day, it's running, and it's like, it's just like crazy how you manage to like be so nice all the time. And I want to like ask you, like, have you done any like school training? What did you go to college for that? What's your secret?
I skipped the whole college thing. I kind of jumped right into traveling right out of high school. I've always just been kind of gregarious and bubbly and peoply, sometimes to my own detriment. I've had to learn how to like refine it professionally. But I think at the farmers market specifically, like, it's really easy for me to just be in a good mood and take everything. Like, I always ground myself. Like, if I'm ever feeling frustrated, I just kind of remind myself, like, it's a farmer's market. It's a farmer's market. And that's not to like downplay what it is or like deny it of its significance, but more so to just like keep me grounded in like how whimsical it is and how special it is to just be at a park by the river helping people like you and all of my other special magical vendors like achieve some sort of like autonomy with their small business. Like, it's really easy for me to just like tap into that at the market, and like whatever problem I'm dealing with, however frustrated somebody's being, if I share that energy with them, I feel like they pick up on it, and it just makes the whole thing flow.
So it's like anchors. Like an anchor.
Yeah, I like that. An anchor of positivity, sometimes toxic, but yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done. I've definitely had my moments where I've snapped or, you know, handled something not super professionally or not with a lot of charm. And it's definitely something I've like learned over time and something I'm like still refining, because sometimes there's like a line, you know, like you can be like too nice and then people just like, kind of like walk over you. So yeah, I think I'm constantly trying to like find that balance, but like I said, it's so easy at the market, and I get to interact with like magical women like you and everybody who's there. It's just like, it's so empowering.
Oh, I love that. You're so good at it.
Thank
like,
you.
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's definitely like you're always good. There is no, I never picked on something that was like, you're just perfect every time.
Thank you.
And I feel like it's hard because you have like, sometimes there's people that don't come with their weights, or like you see them and they've been there and like they don't follow the rules. They like drive on the grass and like I get mad at that when I'm like, I know the rules, it's not okay to do that. And then you're like, you never like mean or like say something about it in a way that can be like bothering us or anything like that. You're just so nice.
Thank you. I always try to like remember that like everybody's human. It's also really hard to like wake up at 4 a.m, load your van up with breakable, fragile goodies that you worked so hard on, you know, set up a booth, and then a 40-mile-an-hour gust of wind comes through. Like, I know how hard that is, and like everybody there is just human trying their best. So yeah, I'm trying to always remind myself of that. I've been treated like, you know, really poorly by, you know, different, particularly men in the workplace. Okay. And I think lessons like that, like I never would ever want somebody to feel like belittled or embarrassed or like called out in any sort of setting, especially at Riverside Farmers Market. We are all there to just like have a great time and do our thing. So yeah, just constantly reminding myself that we're all human. Who knows what somebody's like dealing with that morning, or you know, what sort of text message they just got, or what sort of interaction they just had with one of the various patrons we get at Idlewild Park. So yeah, there's a lot of layers, and I think that just being super kind is a good default for me, but easier said than done sometimes.
You are doing great.
Thank you.
So then, before you moved to Reno, did you move to Reno in 2023, or when did you move to Reno?
I moved to Reno in 2016, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm originally from Flagstaff, Arizona, which is kind of a similar, and you worked at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. So like, you are my family.
Yes, dude. We crossed paths energetically.
I know.
Yeah, so that's like, I mean, that's my homeland. And Flagstaff, did you spend any time there?
Well, we go shopping there.
Yeah, it's like closest town with like anything other than like Tucson, right outside of
Tucson, but like you can go like to Walmart or anything like that. It's just like Flagstaff to like buy stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, Flagstaff reminds me of Reno a lot. It's like Reno and Truckee had like a weird baby. It's like a similar high desert climate, so farmers there are facing similar challenges and barriers.
And you get like winter too, you get like snow, you get like pretty much all seasons there.
Totally.
Too.
So I was always used to that. I think I built like a pretty good resilience to all that. The winters in Flagstaff are pretty gnarly. And then, yeah, I moved to San Diego. I lived there briefly, kind of just like being a beach bum and working as a server, kind of working random jobs. And I really missed the mountains. So then, yeah, I moved up here in 2016. And
what brought you to Reno? Why Reno?
my sister lived here, and I was kind of a vagabond at the time and living out of my car, just figuring out what my next destination would be. So I stopped here as like a temporary plan, and I've been here for 10 years now because I fell in love with it.
I know, it grows in you.
It like, does. Yeah, I'm a huge backpacker and hiker. So, I mean, the Sierra Nevada is like my playground. And when I realized that I had access to all of this beautiful lands to explore, I was hooked. So yeah, I've been here for almost 10 years, working just odd jobs, kind of. I've never been super career oriented. I've always just felt like kind of a direction, like a directionless creative. I think being a people person has been something I've really like fallen back on. Like no matter what job I'm working, I just connect with whoever I'm working with, and that ends up like being really sustainable for me. Yeah, the market kind of fell into my lap in 2023, and I just took it and ran with it. Yeah.
So what did you do from 2016 to 2023?
I worked as the dog trainer. I worked as a server, but the bulk of it, I actually worked in the cannabis industry, more on the corporate level. I did move here when it was becoming legalized, so I entered the industry during like a sort of chaotic state where there was a lot of gray area with regulation and just a lot of potential for development, and I got to be a part of all of that, which was really, really cool. And I think that like honestly really developed my skill set for where we are now. But yeah, I worked in the weed industry for a very long time. And that's what I was doing up until I found the farmers market.
Okay, well, it's kind of like the same area, you know, it's always organic, natural.
Absolutely. Spending a lot of time with growers, and honestly, like I think both worlds draw a group of people who are maybe outside the social norms and trying to achieve some sort of autonomy, and really empowered women who are not gonna let stereotypes get them down. I mean, I never fit the stereotype of somebody that like heavily used cannabis at all, so it was like really fun to like kind of step into that and like bring my femininity and my own like gentle energy to a world that was like generally more harsh. And yeah, it was really fun, good experience, and that was my life for a very long time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of follow the same patterns, and like you still like end up in the same area. It's just it kind of follows you around.
It's true. Yeah.
You're so perfect for it.
Thank you.
So for the Riverside Farmers Market, tell me the story. Like you were volunteering or like working a little bit at the old location, and then how did you end up being the director?
The market used to be at the McKinley Center. It was founded in 2018 by Casey Crispin and her partner Zach. forgive me, Zach, I don't remember your last name if you're listening to this. So yeah, she was directing at the McKinley Center. My sister was actually a vendor at the time. She had just started her microgreen business. And I was just like her little shadow. I would just spend I think at the time it was on Saturdays, and she started in November. So I remember her very first market was like icy and cold and gray and miserable weather. And I just remember being astounded by how many people were there shopping and supporting these vendors. And I think at the McKinley Center, there were only about 20 vendors at a time. It was a much smaller footprint. So yeah, week after week, I would just go hang out at my sister's booth, like get us coffees, and just started connecting with the vendors. I met the people, you know, who work for Beloveds, Zach and Kayla. I met Walker with Happy Mushroom Co. I met all of the people at Prema Farm, mainly people who were more in like the agriculture side of the farmers market. And through that, I ended up connecting with the director. Started volunteering for her a little bit. The market moved to Idlewild Park and got a lot busier. So I started spending a lot more time there. I ended up like spending, 8 to 9 hour days just helping restock strawberries and just helping vendors with like little odd jobs. And really dedicated myself to just knowing like this market's gonna be a part of my life somehow, some way. Even if I have to sacrifice every Sunday just to make something happen out of it, like without getting paid to do it, that's fine. So yeah, after like 6 months of doing that, the director literally one day, on like a super busy Sunday, was like, hey, do you wanna start managing the market just like day of stuff? And I was like kind of distracted, like stocking strawberries, and was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Not knowing what I was getting myself into. So the following Sunday, was like when it all began, baby. Yeah, they at the time were managing, and they owned Prema Farm, and so they were running that. So I would wake up at 3:30, drive out to Prema Farm. It's about an hour round trip. Pick up the market supply van, drive to Idlewild Park, set everything up by myself, work the info booth, pack it all up, drive back to the farm, and then get home. It was sometimes like a 12 to 14 hour day.
Wow.
So I did that, just doing day of stuff for, another couple months. And then sort of a similar situation. I was like packing up the van at the end of a really long day and super busy. And Casey goes, hey, I'm moving to Hawaii. Can you take over the whole market? And I was like, yes! I mean, I was so excited. I probably like dropped what I was holding. Like we never really had like a formal conversation. It just was like, that was how we communicated, was just like manic in offerings, like in the moment. And so I literally think it fell in my lap. We ended up, forming a really strong team. So I ended up just doing, market stuff. We have Courtney O'Neill doing our marketing. So she does, directs our social media team, directs our copywriter, all that. We have a copywriter who writes our amazing newsletters. Her name is Tiffany Connolly. She's based out of Truckee and is just amazing. And then we have Yashi Sanchez, our photographer. We also have Vicky Alvarez. She does all of our finance work. And then Lily Gray with Reno Mobile Market. So all of us together are the brainchild behind the Riverside Farmers Market. We came together as that team.
It's total?
7.
7, okay.
Oh, wait,
I like
yeah, 7. And we are a nonprofit as well, so we ended up becoming the board of the whole program. And this all happened, early 2014. And the market has been just my my brainchild within that dynamic. Yeah.
Wow.
And it has just taken off ever since. The timing was really serendipitous. It happened to be like right when we moved to Idlewild Park, so a lot of it was just like we were busier because we were at that location. We just get so much more foot traffic there. It really took a couple years for the seed to get planted that we were like a year-round market as well. So that was the first year we started seeing like busier winters, and it worked out for me because I had like a really strong team of really strong women who set me up for success.
Is it all women?
It's all women. Yes, absolutely. We have some male volunteers, but everybody on the board and involved with Riverside Farmers Market, Reno Mobile Market, all women. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, which I love.
I didn't know that. That's like, you should guys should promote that more.
We should actually. We do have Tom Stilley. He is the owner of River School Farm. He's this beautiful, very artistic, quirky gentleman who, he's like an honorary board member. So shout out to Tom. But other than that, yeah, totally.
Nice.
So that's kind of the saga. Yeah, that all happened beginning of 2014. 23, which is end of 2023, beginning of 2024, and here we are.
That's pretty much when I started. So
Yeah,
like,
I think,
exactly.
I remember you coming on was like when I was still fresh too. I felt like a spring chicken. I still feel like a spring chicken, but I was like freshly birthed out of the egg at that point. So I think we were all learning together still.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, totally.
Aww, I love that. Those are like so good times. I feel like that's when I rebirthed too, because it was like I was going through a transition too. So it was like perfect timing to like be in the farmers market and like meet people and just grow in a different.
It's crazy to me how like, I totally believe in like a collective consciousness, but I believe that time, like a lot of people were going through like really big transitions, and I think we all kind of felt it together, and it was cool.
Yeah,
it was cool
I
to
think
be a part
maybe it was
of.
our generation or something.
Totally.
Where it's like now it's the time for like this generation to transition and like
into your next phase of life and your next like creative endeavor. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Oh. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss here anything. Oh, yeah, I do have some good questions here that I didn't. So you did say something about like you kind of always being from like being nice and calm, but I feel like have you always been that way, or did you like really like change a lot?
I've always been really energetic and really kind, but I think the opposite of that exists as well. So there's no happy medium for me. Like I'm either really kind, really energetic, really in the zone, or like really grumpy and really not in it. Like there's really not a happy medium for me. So I had to learn to kind of like honor my own boundaries, really. Like if I'm in that headspace, if it's hard for me to achieve a happy medium, like if I'm only feeling 50% that day, like that's my 100% for that day. So then I try to, I think just over time, like learning, just being a little more self-aware. I have not always been this like steady, like what you're describing, like at market. I think it's taken my nervous system a while to get to that point, to be able to just like stay calm. I do remember specifically working in the cannabis industry, being behind the bar. My official title at the time was bud tender. Really getting like pretty verbally aggressive with people if they would share that energy with me, and then I would always feel like really slimy afterward. Like I really didn't like that, and I learned that behavior from other people. Like it was kind of taught to me, like, hey, like if you're gonna set a boundary, like stand up for yourself, and you know what I mean. And I kind of learned pretty quickly that that wasn't my style of setting boundaries. And again, kind of just come back to how the setting of the market itself really helped me achieve that. I think before the market, I honestly was like a little bit more aggressive in those situations. I think that it helped my nervous system realize that it's not all an emergency. Everything is better achieved if we can like stay calm and just communicate human to human. And
it's the environment too. I feel like you have to match the environment.
I feel like it's a lot of, absolutely, totally. And it's totally hard to like, I think of, working in a really busy retail setting, it's really, really hard to tune and tap into that headspace. And I don't think I ever was really good at that. So I'm grateful for the setting here and the people here that have like helped me learn that skill set too. Because it's something that now that I know what that feels like, and I know how to handle these situations with like kindness and respect and like honor for emotion, like I can use that everywhere in life. And I think that it's just helped me, it's helped everybody. It's like a really cool ripple effect.
I agree. How do you tell someone no while still maintaining a relationship?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think people are like cooler with being told no than I realized. Like if you're me, but I think more so just honesty. You know what I mean? I think when I first started, I was like not necessarily lying, but not being as direct with people as I should have. And when you're not direct with people, that ambiguity is really stressful for people. I think like, oh, well, she kind of told me yes, she kind of told me no, I don't know where I stand. So I think that kind of just learning that people are more okay with being told no. And if they're not, that's not my responsibility. If I can communicate that news, respectfully and with kindness in my heart, and some nuanced phrasing, if they still aren't receptive to that, like I did what I'm responsible for at that point. But definitely better to be clear than to just kind of like froof my way through things. And that's something that I've learned over time too.
And that feels like most of the times you will maintain the relationship better if you're just direct with the person.
Totally. I forgot about the relationship maintaining part. Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you're wishy-washy with people, it's like, it's flaky. Like nobody wants to, even professionally, right? Like nobody wants to work with somebody who's who's flaky like that. So yeah, being direct, being firm in my kindness, being firm in my boundaries has helped develop relationships and maintain them. Absolutely. Yeah, for like 3 years so far.
Yeah, totally. I love that. I'm also like a very direct person because of my culture.
I was gonna say, yes, it's refreshing.
It's I'm trying not to be as direct sometimes because people are just so confused.
Sometimes they're not receptive to it. Absolutely.
It's like they might take it as like she's not friendly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I like being direct more than like the American way of being like saying things nicely, and then I get confused. I'm like, did they say no or yes, or did they were so friendly about it?
Yeah. And I definitely know I come across that way sometimes. So I think I've learned from like interactions with women like you and people who have different perspectives. Like it's important to be clear. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Have you experienced burnout in these 3 years?
Oh yeah. Kind of back to like collective consciousness. I feel like everybody is feeling a little burnt out lately, particularly. But I think in my context, I'm in a position of privilege where it's like a lot easier for me to push through because my job is so cool. And particularly with the farmers market, the schedule is a little more flexible, and I can show up to work, needing support from people and being able to accept it without having to like stand strong all day with a smile on my face. So yeah, I think I definitely experienced burnout, particularly, lately with like the state of the world and just, everything going on. Yeah, I think everybody's always like striking a new balance, right? Like things are always happening in life. People are taking on new projects. Just adding more to their plate, and then you have to find the new normal. And I think for me, that's when burnout happens, is when you either take on more or something in life happens and you still have to do what you're doing with all of that and then find your new balance. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm working on that currently. Definitely.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of adjusting right now, learning how to like manage.
Yeah, this is my first year working the farmers market and my full-time farming job. So I think that's a really good example of me just having to find the new normal, like reprioritizing.
Time management.
Time management. Yeah, I think prioritizing and time management is the toughest thing for me because I want everybody to feel heard. I want everybody to be responded to. But I also, as I grow older, I have to realize that it's not realistic, especially when you're running like a really successful business. Like it's indicative, it's like a good problem to have, right? And I want everybody to be heard. But I think in our world here at the market, I do experience a lot of emotional burnout as well. That's the tough thing about like having such close relationships with all the people that I work with. And I do feel like the weight of 80 people's like success of their business is on my shoulders sometimes, right? And so I think that I burn myself out emotionally just by putting that pressure on myself, and learning over time to not do that.
Yeah, kind of detach that part.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely.
I know you're like taking it so much.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every single day I'm like, I just want market to be busy. Like there are literally 80 people here who are like paying their rent, feeding their children, paying their bills by setting up Idlewild Park every Sunday. And that I do not take that lightly. So yeah, I think that burnout happens to everybody no matter what you're doing, no matter if people consider your job easy, whatever perspective they have. Like life is crazy. There's so much expected of us, and burnout is normal, and it happens a lot and it sucks, but
it's something you have to go through, I guess.
Totally. And just like figure out, find your new normal, cope healthily, and just, get to the next phase in life.
It's like you do have like such a good job, like everyone is looking from the outside and looks like what a cool job you have, and you get to like, see the community and get out and like work with plants, and it's just a very healthy environment, but at the same time it's like, oh, you actually get burnout too, like you have a corporate job or something,
Yeah, so I think that no matter what, there's like a lot of expected of people, even if your job is from the outside looking in really, really fun and perfect. Like it's no matter what, everything is either like socially demanding, physically demanding. There's a lot of labor that goes into putting on farmers markets, that people don't see. Like they just show up to the market and they see a bunch of happy people sitting behind their booths with a beautiful display, but they don't know how exhausted your body might be from having to set up that day, or maybe you're dealing with an injury of some kind that you're healing with, So yeah, physical burnout, emotional burnout, just It happens. Be aware of it and try to take care of ourselves. I think is all we can do for sure.
But it's better when you're in part of the community, honestly. Like, you know,
yes.
you have other people.
And being honest about it. Like, I think I'm getting better at about that. Like, not wanting to be superwoman. Like, oh, I'm fine. Like, yeah, I'm fine, but also like I'm a little stressed out. Like, let's talk about it. Like, having those interactions at market in particular is so refreshing. Like, that's how we change the world. Is like being more vulnerable and transparent in the everyday, so that we feel like less enslaved by all of this.
Yeah. And more human. I feel like the more you like tell others how you feel and like not like put a smile on your face and fake it, the less human you become.
Yes.
And where I'm like, I do find myself like saying out loud like, oh, this is how I feel right now. It's like, you know, everyone is like asking you, hey, how are you today? I'm like, I don't know, today I'm like kind of tired.
Yeah. And it's easier for us energetically, to be honest. I think it can help with burnout sometimes, just to like not fake it, because we're already putting so much energy into like getting through the day. Why put energy into like putting on a face? Be honest, be kind when you're being honest. But I think that, you bring up a good point. That helps a lot, for sure.
Big time, big time. What advice would you give someone who struggles with conflict?
It can be healthy. It can be like, I think not all good change, a lot of good change comes from an initial conflict or an initial point of contention. And I think we're raised, specifically in like our culture here, to not to be afraid of it, to like be nice and to fear confrontation, because it doesn't need to be confrontational to talk through a conflict or talk through a problem. Have more of them. Like, exposure therapy is a thing. Like, as somebody, I used to be pretty avoidant, I think, like in my early 20s, like early adulthood, and being, you know, speaking your mind, even if there might be a little argument out of it, or getting involved in a situation that you know might result in conflict. Like, I think exposing yourself to that and trying to like train your nervous system that you're not being chased by a bear. You're like, nobody's holding a knife to your throat by you know, having a disagreement with somebody. I think that the more you do that respectfully, the more your nervous system can like learn that it's not going to kill you.
So it's like practice.
Practice makes perfect. Don't be afraid of conflict. It's going to happen. Lean into it a little bit. It's going to make you feel better. I mean, don't go out in the world like causing conflict. You know what I'm saying? But if you happen to like be in a situation
people
where
are gonna come to my booth tomorrow and be like,
they're gonna be like, let's fight. Emma told me to fight.
Yeah. I'm gonna get banned on YouTube for like instigating conflict.
I think a lot of times like what can be perceived as conflict is like more so a reflection of like how you're feeling about yourself. Like, a lot of times if people come to you with either a problem or like you're involved in a disagreement, like whatever the other person is saying is usually more a reflection of how they're feeling. So yeah, just stay calm and approach everything as more of like a conversation and a learning experience. Of course, you know, if your safety is at risk, that's a different situation. But yeah, I deal with conflict every single Sunday in some respect, you know, either vendor to vendor, customer to vendor. We're operating at a really popular public park, so we have all sorts of different people coming and going constantly, whether they're like politically canvassing. That's a tough one to navigate. People trying to set up booths who like aren't part of the farmers market. That's a big one. Those can be like pretty contentious situations sometimes. But yeah, I think it's been really good for me to navigate all that and just go in head first, be respectful, you know, start at a zero and work your energy up from there if you need to.
Okay. I do think about, I think like a few weeks ago there was someone that didn't set up a booth, but there was like 2 kids that started singing or playing guitar or something like that. I don't think they were part of the farmers market, were they?
The violinists?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Musicians are a tough one because they'll see our musicians underneath our tent, and they sometimes assume that these musicians are just busking, which is where you just like show up to a park and you open your guitar case and play music and you get tips. But a lot of times they don't realize that I put several hours of work, you know, every week into finding these musicians and scheduling them and like talking about their repertoire with them and etc. So I usually just tell people that, like in that situation with those 2 kids, their music was beautiful, right? Like we loved it. But it's just a tough situation to navigate. So I went up to her parents, and I just told them like, hey, my name's Emma. I run the farmers market. Here's what I do to schedule my musicians. If you ever want to like be a part of that process, here's my information. But just because I have these other 3 musicians here that I'm paying, scheduling to be here, like, you know what I mean? And a lot of times if I'm just super honest and like calm, it like 9.9 times out of 10, people are super receptive. So, but that one's tough because they're like cute kids who are like playing music at the park. So yeah, it's hard. And like, there's definitely been times where I like let it slide. You gotta kind of feel out the vibe. Like, is me like letting these really talented kids busk in the park going to impact the like overall flow of everything? Like, those are decisions you kind of have to make in the moment. But I try to just be super fair and super like honest with everybody. So that's how I navigated that one. But yeah, that's a tough one. I think the political canvassing is tough as well because we respect everybody's opinions, but we want the market to be a neutral space. We want it to just be a safe space for everybody to just kind of come and do yoga and shop for vegetables and not really have to focus on that. So yeah, in those situations, I like to offer people food.
Yeah, I can say no to food.
Yeah, like, hey, you want some? I have some really yummy strawberries. Like, let's eat some strawberries and chat about it. And, you know, I'll ask them about what they're doing and what their goal is and tell them what I'm doing and what my goal is. And a lot of times we just come to a consensus.
Nice. I love that approach.
Yeah.
And then, did they apply? Were they like able to apply online and come after that, or no?
A lot of those musicians will, yeah. I think those kids in particular, I did chat with their mom, and they will be playing at like some of our like larger events. Like, we always try to accommodate where we can, right? And like that's how I made those connections, was just like showing up to the market and putting myself out there. So we would never want to like shame anybody if you're doing that. Keep them as involved as we can while still like being fair and true to our systems, I think.
There is someone else that plays, I don't know what instrument that is, but it's right at the entrance of the park. Is that part of the market? Because sometimes I don't know for sure.
The accordion?
I don't think it's an accordion. No, it's like a small instrument, like a guitar.
Is it like a banjo? I don't know. Maybe.
I've seen him around. I go to the other wall just to walk, and he plays there.
Does he have like a hat on usually?
Yeah.
I think so he's not a part of the market, but he's really respectful of like the boundaries. Like you said, you see him all the time. I often actually see him like before this construction was here, like along the river.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's playing a banjo, which is like a pretty, really quintessential, like round. Yeah, for sure. He's great. He's really cool.
He's super nice.
And a lot of the times, like regulars like that who aren't even a part of the market, like he knows where the market line is. So he'll go like right outside of it. He knows when it gets busy and when I start to get, you know, a little more aware of the fact that, you know, so it's kind of just a vibe that we've set over the couple years. Those are fun. Those are the situations that keep me on my toes, though. You know, you never know what you're gonna have to, what sort of conversations you're gonna have at Idlewild, for sure. Yeah.
I love that. That's so smart too. You know, like you don't have to be part of the market if you don't want to, but as long as you know the rules, and that's good for him because he's very talented.
Yes.
I'd love to hear his music.
Absolutely. And it's just hard because like we don't have like a, you know, we don't have a building, right? But we are like an established like business of some kind with some sort of a flow. So yeah, it's hard because people want to just like come. Well, the other day, like people set up like a booth where they were like trying to sell puppies, like in the middle of the, like in the kids village. So stuff like that is like, it takes a lot of nuance to navigate. My goal is to go into everything like never offending anybody. I think.
How did that go?
No, that one was tough because those puppies were cute, man. But no, usually people are really understanding. I pretty much just tell them the same thing, like, hey, I have vendors here selling their product, but they're paying me to be here, you know, paying the program to be here. So it's not fair that you're here selling things and you're not doing that. And then they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So just communicating. I think, back to my previous point, like people are a lot cooler with being told no and just like being communicated with than I initially thought. And I'm learning that over time, for sure.
Were there any times that actually went wrong?
Where it went wrong?
Yeah.
You know, when I first started, I think it was summer 2024, there was like a pretty intense altercation between 2 grown men at the market. They were vendors, they were neighbors, and it got really intense. And I was really new to it. I wanted to nip it in the bud. And the energy was already at like a 9. So I like physically went in between these 2 grown men and, told them like, I just tried. I was like, basically, I was begging and pleading. I was like, please just stop fighting. Like, we're all here. For, you know, this is a peaceful place. We're just selling our bread. We're selling our crackers, whatever. I didn't handle it very well, like in retrospect. Like I ended up like building up the energy more and like making them more mad by like jumping in there and trying to be like my transparent, sweet self. So I think that's like a really notable situation where I think one of the few times where it would have benefited me more to just like step back and maybe like call non-emergency police or just like honestly let it play out like as it is. But yeah, that was.
Are they still vendors?
No.
Okay.
No, they are we handled that immediately.
Your PR is so good because I never heard of this conflict.
Love that. I did. It was a good learning experience for me. It was one of the first things that I had to deal with because they were using like really intense slurs, you know, at market, like really, really offensive language that was offensive to a lot of different members of our community. And I got a lot of emails, some text messages about it. So it was like a really good lesson in like being super direct with people and like nipping things like that in the bud. And yeah, like don't let grown men who are fighting.
What would you have done differently?
I think in retrospect I would have not put myself in that energy at all. I would have just like tried to get everybody, because there was a crowd of people
just
watching.
Looking at them?
So yeah, so I would have tried to I would have just like called the police right away and then try to maintain the crowd as much as possible, I think. But in a situation like that, I don't have a lot of control. I think that's also something I've had to learn too. Yeah. But I haven't run into something like that, and that was like, 2.5 years ago. Knock on wood. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the community there is so
I think
amazing.
it's very rare, especially for like vendors to get into fights like that.
So rare.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, I think the universe like was testing me, and it was a good lesson. Because like I've had everything else
and work.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm so cool and kind, because it all did traumatize me initially. No, it was good.
It's part of the training.
That's part of my favorite. One of my favorite parts about the market is like creating the map and like, you know, putting vendor friends by each other, and there's a lot of yes, because it makes your day so much better when you're like next to Frosina or, you know, whoever, and yeah, it's fun to do that. So I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from that experience. For sure.
I love that. So that's like managing, fights and
yes, the conflict in general.
Placement, yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Okay. So let's talk about the Riverside a little bit more. What's the Riverside? How is the Riverside different than other markets that are happening in town?
We are year round, so we're only closed like 4 days max out of the year, and it's because there's either other events happening at the park or just like scheduling things. So yeah, we're really resilient by being year round. That makes us really unique. We're a little bit, we just have a different vetting process. So we are really thorough with our application review. That's why it either takes you a really long time to hear back or you don't hear back, because we take a lot of care to make sure that the products that are in our market are truly handmade, or the baked goods are, truly being made with the ingredients that you're saying they are, or the produce that you're growing is, being grown in alignment with more sustainable practices. We don't necessarily require our food and farms to be USDA organic, but we do, we're really focused on soil health and water health. We recognize that we're growing food and preparing food in a really sensitive climate that has a really sensitive watershed. We honor the indigenous land that we're growing food on and creating beautiful products on. So yeah, that makes us really unique. We're really particular about particularly the food and the bakeries and also the artisans like you. Just making sure that people are actually doing all of this magic by hand and sourcing their flowers ethically and etc. We also have a lot of education going on in our market, which is fun. We offer a lot of free classes all throughout the year, lots of kids music classes, kids art classes, free yoga classes, sometimes some garden education, depending on the situation. We try to have a lot of community engagement going on. Whether that be classes, live music. We always have at least 2 musicians, adding some magic to the park as well. And I think the setting of which I just kind of fell in our lap makes us really unique as well. It's really beautiful being along the river, by the ponds. Our vetting process. We're year round, our location, just all the awesome people that are there, like you. I think the community itself, like there's people that travel from really far, North Valley, South Reno, Dayton, etc., to be a part of the scene there. And I think that makes us really unique too. Like we got some die-hard customers. Like it'll be blizzarding in December, 40-mile-an-hour winds. I have maybe 10 vendors. And thinking of Steven and Cassidy in particular, two of our awesome customers will be there every single Sunday, baskets in hand, smiles on their faces. And I think that makes us really, really unique too. It's like the resilient customers and vendors.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree with that.
It's so cool.
As a vendor, I agree.
It's so cool. Like I love seeing a really rainy, busy day. It's amazing. It's a testament to how powerful an event like this is. It gets people out of the house.
It's crazy.
Keeps people engaged.
Reno, because I feel like me coming and not being like Reno local and coming from busy streets of Europe.
Totally.
To like see the market so full. Like sometimes I don't even realize that there is this many people in Reno. It's like you never see people walking on the street or like.
Absolutely.
It's like a different town. It's like a different country when it's like going to the Riverside Farmers Market.
I love that. That's such a good point. We're always trying to like embody those open air markets that you see all throughout Europe. And for a lot of people with the lifestyle that we're living here, like that is their only outing of the week sometimes, or the only chance they have to take their family to the park and play. So it's super special.
It's amazing. And it just feels like, it feels very safe.
I love that.
These are my own personal struggles, where like I'm in a different city, even though this is my hometown now.
Totally.
But I do still have these fears, and
totally.
The farmers market definitely feels like it's different.
I've always felt that way too. Yeah, I think that you bring up a really good point. Like I, struggled with like social anxiety in the past, and I think that it's a really safe space at the market. I think a lot of people pick up on that too. Like safe for families, really safe for women.
And kids running, and dogs everywhere.
Every demographic, like every background, every type of person you can imagine is welcome there, and like we want you there, and everybody wants to be there together. And it's like there's a very few events in Reno that are like that. I think.
I can think of. Sometimes lavender honey.
Lavender and honey, absolutely, because it's a lot of the same vendors.
Yeah, true.
For sure.
And it's like they're like process of like choosing the vendors. It's so different than others,
Yes, and the woman who runs it, Anne Lueha, she's incredible. I'm learning a lot from her. But yeah, I think that it's super unique.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
And the fact that we're there every Sunday helps too. Like it can be hard to. Is this open today, or what's happening today? Like just knowing, like I can wake up, I can take the kids to the park, I'm gonna see Ellie, I'm gonna see Courtney and David. Like that consistency is like really important for our local businesses, our local food shed, all of it.
Yeah, big time.
Totally.
It's more like stability. It's there. It's like in Europe, there's like it's every day. So you go to the the market every day and it's open. But here at least it's open on Sundays. You go and it's open, and you go get your groceries and what you need. So yeah, I definitely love that about it. And it's for us as vendors too. Like this is my Sunday work. Like I know I'm working on Sunday from 8 to 1 every Sunday.
Yeah.
There's no
and you can rely on the income, like maybe have like a minimum or like a baseline that like on a super slow day, like I'll at least walk home with this. Like it's super important for small business owners to have that consistency, for sure.
For me, it's more like the community engagement. That's my social time.
Yes. And I love that point. I think a lot of people are in the same boat. Like why else would you be there on a snowy, blizzardy, December,
it's like
Sunday?
To meet my friends and to meet my customers and just have my day of social.
Totally.
And that's literally why I'm there.
And it's all connected, right? Like to running your business, to running your life, like building that community is the soil of it all. I think for sure that we grow so much more out of. For sure.
I made so much friends there, so many friends there. And yeah, I think that's like my whole social area. Like I don't have any other friends out of the market.
Yeah, same.
It's like everyone that I know in town is from the market.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so happy to have created a space like that because I feel the same way. Like my whole community is there. It's amazing. We have amazing volunteers. It's like the people who will just show up and dedicate their Sunday morning to come help us lift heavy things and hang out with us. It's just a testament to how amazing Reno is. It's so cool.
There is a very good group of people in Reno that are really there to help out and really make the change. And
totally.
I do see that the Riverside Farmers Market is a big part of that change.
I love that.
And I moved here in 2012. 2019,
Oh
and
my
that's
gosh.
when I feel like a lot changed in Reno. It was like going, Midtown was in renovations, and like a lot of like older California people coming in here. So a lot of things changed
Yes,
during that time till
totally.
today. And I just love the change that is happening. I don't know how much different it was before, but I think it was a lot more different before than you've been here since
2016. Yeah, I think
So
you're right.
you've seen a lot more change.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that the community has, like, at least for me, like, yeah, a lot warmer and a lot more expressive. And yeah, Reno is rad. Reno is so cool. Don't tell anybody. We can keep it our secret.
No, come to Reno.
Just kidding. Come to Reno. If you come to Reno, though, come to the Riverside Farmers Market. That's like all you should do. Just come on a Sunday.
I had someone last week from Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
They were like, hey, like everyone knows how nice markets are in Portland, Oregon. Like on
they're
my
like
TikTok.
so nice.
Yeah, on my TikTok, they were commenting, oh, you have to come here and see ours. They're so much cooler. And then these people came in person, and they were like, there's nothing compares with this. Like they were like saying that they have this struggle right now in their markets too, that they don't see as many people handmade.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have a lot of product that it's actually hand assembled, or like it's more, you put it together and you call it handmade.
Totally.
And then they were looking at my frames, and they were like, oh, did you actually make those? Like, oh, they're actually soldered. They're actually, yeah, I actually cut my glass and like fully handmade them. So
Yeah.
they were like, it's like, oh, we're so happy that you're here, and like we actually see these more and more. So yeah, you're just like reassuring, like, okay, this is like, it's a great market space of you guys like choosing the vendors and how like consistency stays, and just like people seeing that, you have people coming and traveling and comparing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big change and difference that it makes between like your market and other markets.
Yeah, I love that. That's so, what a compliment to receive from a Portlander telling us they like our market. Yeah, and I mean, that's why it's worth it to take the time to vet everybody, take the time to build those relationships with the ones we have vetted, I think we see a lot of events in town that are like turning and burning vendors, and a lot of it is because there's a bandwidth thing, right? It's hard to like manage applications, and our organization is mainly volunteer based. So yeah, just like the people power to handle the vetting process can be really, really hard, like depending on the structure of your program. So yeah, we really go out of our way to take the time to do that. So it's really nice to hear that from other people as well.
Yeah. How many vendors do you have right now?
We have 132 approved for our weekly markets. We usually this time of year will have about 80 actually vending throughout the summer. And those that like that buffer are usually artisans kind of in your category whose attendance we take a little bit more time to schedule. But for the most part, every vendor who signs up is there every single Sunday. That's another thing that makes our market really, really important and unique. But yeah, about 132 approved vendors right now.
Do you have a goal? Can you get more? Or
We are in a position where we don't want to, because it's not super sustainable. We're constantly gauging traffic and sales and which niches are either too saturated or not saturated enough, and we have finally struck a really nice balance, so we're gonna kind of see how that goes throughout the summer. We are always looking for local farms. We are first and foremost a nonprofit that's here to support local agriculture and a local food shed. So aside from that, we're pretty set, and I feel really fortunate to say that our lineup of vendors is so consistent and so diverse and so reliable that yeah, it's pretty nice.
Nice. So for someone that wants to apply to be a vendor in the market, what are the main criteria to get accepted?
For it, highly depends on the niche. I think for this conversation, we'd more so be talking about artisans and artists and more handmade goods. In that situation, you're up against a lot. It's definitely the hardest niche to get into, particularly at Riverside Farmers Market, because of the vetting process. So what you can do to stand out is, if you do apply, attach as many photos as you can. People are very visual. Our board is super, super visual as well, so pictures. We like to see businesses like yours who are already like doing the work, like doing the marketing work themselves and putting themselves out there as a business. So send us your socials, send us your website, send us as much information about how you're putting yourself out there as a business as possible. We make sure all of your licensing is in place. That depends on your niche again, but for this one in particular, it's usually just a business license.
But also, if you don't have a business license, you can get a daily business license.
That's correct. We can charge you a temporary as well. So it kind of depends on the situation. There's a little more nuance to that. But yeah, I would say pictures. The most important thing is information about sourcing, like where you are sourcing your materials. There have been situations where I've asked for, receipts, like pictures of receipts for what you put into creating this product, etc. With hand assembled goods, so stuff that's like laser cut, etc., there's still a creative process that happens there. So we are open to it, like, on occasion. But in a situation like that, yeah, we're really gonna ask questions about where you're sourcing your materials, because it can be hard to ethically source, different plastics, etc. So yeah, at that point, we'll dive in more to like your creative process as a designer, just to ensure that there's authenticity and soul behind it. So yeah, prove that to us, I think, on your application. We are, it's also something you can kind of feel, like I'm sure you develop an instinct for what is handmade, what somebody is pouring hours of work into, and what somebody ordered on Amazon and is reselling. So yeah, show us that you're not doing that. Would be how you stand out.
Yeah, I mean,
totally.
for me it would be easy, but like I guess
Totally.
Everyone, when you make a product, you also put a lot of work and like heart into it to make that product.
Totally.
But you can't really compare yourself. Like I don't compare myself with someone that laser engraves something.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I would never do that. But also,
Totally.
I can say at the same time that they're fully handmade when I know that.
Yeah.
Like I know making a product from scratch compared to something that you just put it on a computer and laser it. It's different than.
Totally. Like you said, don't compare it. Like they're totally different niches. And I think, like I said, you guys are up against a lot in this particular niche, especially like at a farmer's market that prioritizes food, because the artisans are, it's a lot more nuanced to schedule. And, we wouldn't want to have 5 dried bouquet vendors, right? And so that's a lot of it. I mean, I think it's important to note that it took a lot of our vendors like several years to get into the Riverside Farmers Market, which is another thing that makes us unique. Like it can be a bit of a waiting process, and there are going to be a lot of no's that you'll hear, probably along the way.
What's like the most common mistake people do when they apply?
Not enough information. So yeah, not enough pictures, not enough information, and then asking for a lot of support with like establishing your business. So I would love to one day start like a business support, like business of some kind, but like we can't wear all those hats.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right? Let's do it. Let's go. Maybe we're planting a seed here.
That's like great. Like we can do a non-profit for like small business owners that are just getting started.
Yeah.
And then like someone come. It's so easy to train, like especially these days.
It's
so,
true.
Like, in a small town like this, where you have like all the connections
and there's a couple like business development resources in town that are great, that if anybody's curious, I can like direct you towards. But I think you're right, like they're not as accessible as you think. So, but
they are actually. I just joined which I'm already established, but I wanted to just talk to someone. And then there is this like UNR project they do. It's the
Small Business Development Center. That's what yes, Kelly is the bomb. She is the one that I met with, but yeah, that's actually what I was going to recommend. So Small Business Development Center is great. That's usually what will lead people towards. So yeah, like that's a lot of people whose applications we kind of skip through, or people who don't have their business information or are asking a lot of questions. And in those situations, I try to give people resources so that if they do choose to reapply, they're set up for a little more success. But yeah, most of the time I lead them to the Small Business Development Center.
I had a meeting with them too.
It's great. It's free. It's free. It's like an hour consultation. Would recommend. It's a lot of really good information. For sure. So once you have that, in your brain, then apply to the market, I think is like, sometimes people do it in reverse.
I did it in reverse. I did it when I was like making jewelry with like necklaces, and there was like 2 weeks in my art craft.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I just gave all my jewelry to friends and family. Like, what am I supposed to now? I have like another 100 pieces that I can make, and I'll probably make because I don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe I can just sell them at the market.
Love that.
And that's how I like started. I had no idea. Like, I paid the daily business license for like a year.
I love that. Yeah, and you were, a lot of that's timing too, right? Like, you were so lucky. I think we both like jumped into it like at the right time. I think we are 3 years later at a point where it might be like a little harder for an up and coming jeweler to get into, but it's like, it's still really good information. Like, also, like, I always encourage people to come like talk to our vendors and ask them too, right? Like, you might not get into the Riverside Farmers Market right away, but you could like have a conversation with Ellie or Frazina about, you know, how
Other
you
markets.
got here, other markets. There's so many events in Reno in particular, and a lot of really cool niche ones that like maybe their marketing isn't as robust, but you still get like a really good turnout. So yeah, I talk to people and ask around. Totally.
It's so important where you as a vendor are going to be as selling your product.
Yeah.
Because for me, sometimes I can be in a place like a high school craft fair. Like, I found those very hard to be there because my price point is so much different than someone else that is next to me.
Totally.
You won't see my product anywhere else in town or in the States, very little.
Yeah.
But also, like, you look at my product, you love it, but you also see like a price that might not be for everyone.
Totally.
And that's totally fine. I'm just not in the right place to sell my product.
Yeah.
Where there's someone else that can sell things that they designed, or like they're a little less handmade, or the time it's a little less spent on them.
Yeah.
Where they can price it at a different price and sell it a lot more, or like sell out, you know.
Totally.
Where I'm like, sometimes I don't even make the boot fee.
Yeah, and you're totally right. You have to like experiment with markets and see which ones are gonna work for you, which ones are drawing in the crowd that are gonna be in alignment like with what you are trying to sell. And yeah, you gotta try them out for sure.
Yeah. So like, even if people want to apply to the Riverside Farmers Market, they have to think if it's the right market for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that a good way to do that is to come, like we said, talk to vendors, come as a shopper. A lot of people, I think you bring up a good point, will kind of just like, you know, Google like markets in Reno and just start apply. So I think, taking the time to like learn the market is really beneficial to people who are new to it in particular. Yeah.
What can someone do to improve their chances of being accepted?
I think in this niche it's hard, but I think that kind of just back to sustainability, or sustainably sourcing your materials. I can't talk. Doing like sourcing from our vendors is huge for me. Like particularly with food vendors, like when food vendors are buying ingredients from each other. Love that. I know sometimes like you work with our florists, like our floral vendors.
I work with like woodworkers. So like 8 Woodworks, I did so many projects with him because I was like, I don't want to source my wood anywhere else other than local. So he had like a bunch of local oak wood. So like I got like a laser engraving machine, and then I was like, I want to engrave a few things like magnets with flowers and stuff like that, and make like flower pressers.
That's so cool.
So that was like my main role, is like, okay, I can like, you know, order them in China and have these like pressers made, but like that doesn't resonate with where I stand on. And he got me local oak wood, he sent me them, and then I lasered them and then made flower pressers.
That's amazing. And then when you sell them, you can be like, hey, I got this wood from my vendor who's like 3, you know, booths down.
I even like lasered his name on the back and everything, so people know that it's actually, you know, I source as much as possible. Like, I think like I'm in 90% local source right now,
which is incredible. And that's like, I think if an applicant were to show me that they're getting most of the materials from people like at our market, that's like a green flag right away. It shows that you have like a more comprehensive understanding of like our local business scene here as well, which I think is important, and that comes with time too, right? But I think that makes you stand out a lot too. And having an understanding of like what niche might need to be filled. It can be hard when we just get like repetitive like jeweler applications where the products are really similar. So take the time to like know what our vendors have and try to create something really unique and that really stands apart from that. I think but again, it's tough. Yeah, for sure. Keep creating, keep putting yourself out there in whatever way you can, for sure.
Okay. So this is a tough one, but I do want to talk a little bit, and I do like this subject a lot. And I was asking you a little bit about it before, handmade and hand assembled.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where you guys stand with that and kind of your view on it?
With the hand assembled stuff, you won't see as many of like hand assembled vendors at our market. I think right now I can think of 2, and it's because we have a really comprehensive understanding of their creative process that's going on behind it. The design work itself, is a creative superpower, and that niche does appeal to a lot of people, and it brings in more people who are going to spend money with our woodworkers and our farmers and our bakers. So having like just a holistic understanding of that and not being like too rigid in the standards and still honoring the creative process. Not necessarily making an exception, but limiting the niche and just being much more strict about the products that they can sell, and constantly just checking in to make sure that it all still is their own design work and their own brain work. So yeah, just checking in on products, process, and still researching where they're sourcing the materials. But kind of like we said, it's a little bit more difficult when you're like using plastic and different silicone, etc. But yeah, I think
it's hard. It's hard to like find all handmade vendors these days.
Yeah,
because we are really struggling in this like era where a lot of machines are being used for making stuff.
Totally.
So we're like, I'm sure you guys would accept everyone that is handmade, fully handmade.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many people are actually applying that are fully handmade?
Totally. Yeah, I think that it's hard to, like, I can't go into everybody's studio and, look at it with a microscope, but I think that kind of like back to that conversation, like you can tell too a lot of the times, especially like our board of like people who have been in the game for, 20 years. It's like partially an instinct, and also, honoring different creative processes. And knowing that, sometimes working with a machine and having that ability, it is really artistic, and it can be really beautiful, and we might not want to see like as much of it, but it still like can have a place, I think, for sure. Just diversify a little bit.
Yeah. And people like, I'm giving the example because we're talking about the lasers, but people want things that are lasered. You want the sign, or you want like, there are things that I can make with my hands.
Yeah, totally.
So there is, a market for that too, where people are shopping for those items, and as long as they're made by local artists, they're really like putting their heart into like creating those stuff. So
totally. And a lot of times that'll be a situation where we like really make sure that those vendors are involved in the community elsewhere and like doing as much good as they can for the small business world, to kind of balance it all out. Yeah, totally.
Definitely. It's also, there's a difference, you can be a laser engraver that, orders their stuff from other countries and then just get them in bulk, where like you spend time to engrave those things at home and have your own studio.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I also like handmade, because there's also like people like Frosina that is like spending like her time in the garage and doing pottery.
Yes, I think that they all have a place, and they're appealing to really different. Like we talked about how diverse our shoppers are. I think it's something I've learned over time is like you gotta appeal to everybody, for sure. And I think that the hand assembled, where you're talking about like laser engraved specifically in this scenario, stuff can really appeal to a lot of people.
So there's another option, because I remember this from last week. We had a vendor that was sharing a booth just temporary with Shay.
Oh yeah.
And we did get in this discussion where like she wasn't sure like where she stands, where I was like, I'm not sure if it's possible for you to get approved, even though you did make your product, you designed it, but you can ask Emma and see what she says.
Yeah.
So that's like, I feel like it's a good example to put out, because she was technically handmade, because she did the design for journals. That's what she was selling. But for me, in my perspective, if you were to ask me, a handmade product would be more like, okay, did you make your paper?
That's exactly what I asked her. And so you're totally right. I think that each situation like that is like really nuanced, and that's when things get way less black and white, and it's a lot of gray area, and it's a lot of like looking at the person, the business, all of it. holistically. And in that situation, she was so rad. I was like super transparent with her, and I was like, yo, like your design work is beautiful, but it's basically, you know, it's just a journal that I could buy at Target with like your design work on the outside. And she was like, cool, that's rad. And like, that's not like to dismiss like anything she's doing. It just like doesn't have a place in our market. And yeah.
And that's what I was like, you know, the high school markets, I feel like they'll be such a good match for her.
Totally. And like what she's doing is still, I mean, yeah, it's like everybody who's doing creative work is amazing. Keep doing it. Just find your place. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So thank you. That's a good example. And I feel like you kind of clear out the idea of like what's handmade, hand assembled, and how you can get approved in the market, kind of like what you need and the difference between those. Yeah,
totally.
The gray areas. Also the jewelry making, because that's another sensitive topic. I feel like it's easy to like assemble jewelry and put them together.
Yeah.
But how about like making jewelry? Because you do have a lot of people that are planning to be a vendor as a jewelry. I would think so.
Yeah, I think jewelry is the hardest niche to get into. In fact, like I can't anticipate like bringing on any jewelers like for this whole season because we have such a solid lineup. But if you were to apply, it's the hardest one to vet for sure. A lot of times you find out the hard way after you approve them, and then you start seeing things that you're like, okay, I don't think you designed that yourself. But I haven't run into that situation yet. I think
if you were to.
If I were to, I'm direct with people. Like I'll ask them, like not necessarily prove it, but like prove it. Like show me. At that point, I'll just like be a little bit more curious about your creative process, and we always have the ability to have a conversation about like maybe changing the status of your attendance if you're not going to bring products that are in alignment with our mission, because it's huge. So yeah, it's a tough one. Jewelry is a tough one.
It's a tough one, yeah. Because these days it's a lot easier to come up with a product.
Yeah.
Where it's like for me too, like I don't make my molds for the jewelry. I just pour a resin in it and then I put the flowers in there. So like I don't consider, at some point I was like, I don't want to sell jewelry anymore because I don't resonate, like I don't fully handmade these, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So then I had this like guilt that I was carrying, but then jewelry was like my best seller and people were looking for jewelry with flowers. So I was like, well, I should bring them back, even though it's not fully handmade. It's still like, I press the flowers myself. I like, you know, assemble them, put them together. So still like a lot of time that goes into them.
And a lot of creativity. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that like at our jewelry vendors that I'm thinking of in particular, like we look at like sourcing of stones. So the people we have, like I know that they're getting their materials from like Nevada or California. You know, ethically sourced minerals, which is really, really important. It's really hard to find jewelers who are going to hand make every single aspect of their jewelry. At least, except for exactly, but we managed to. Yeah. And even, I mean, all of Cricut stuff is incredible, and the creativity that goes into what they do is really cool. So I think we're lucky right now. We don't need to actively search for more jewelers for the Riverside Farmers Market, but if it's something that you're creatively pursuing, and it's maybe on your radar, just like honor where you're sourcing your stuff, honor your own process and like whatever's in alignment with what you want to do with your business, and you have to make that up for yourself, kind of like what you're saying. So, and find the markets that are in alignment with that. Yeah.
Definitely. I think we have a good selection of jewelry. Like I love Aurora stuff a lot. There you have Kiara's made with clay jewelry.
Yes, totally.
There's some very good people there.
Yeah, we've got a really robust and we know all of their stuff is ethically sourced and made with love. And so if you're making jewelry, it's a tough niche to get into because I have so many talented ones already. Yeah, for sure.
What else? What is the second most applied vendor?
Jewelry, clothing, surprisingly, and not handmade clothing. We do have a secondhand clothing vendor, Haggle House, and they've been with us pretty much since day one. And it's just not a niche that we need to expand. I think it's a niche that a lot of people are getting into because it's really accessible. It's really, really cool. It's really environmentally sound. But we get a lot of clothing applicants. So if you're applying for secondhand clothing, you're probably not going to get approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a good one. I mean, I don't know what I don't see as much. I don't see someone that does like a seamstress.
Seamstress, that's a good one. Yeah.
Do you have people that apply?
I have not had a seamstress application.
And I had a friend, my friend Maggie, she's local, and I told her to apply with you. I don't think she did because I feel like she would be such a good fit. She made these like canvas bags for me with like fabric from Milan and like a pocket inside, and I think she would be such a good addition.
Those ones are tough because like a lot of their products that they could make could like replicate stuff that we're like already selling there, you know. So I think in a situation like that, we would probably only bring on a seamstress that was like doing like alterations. Like, I don't know.
Like bring your clothes in.
Yeah, like bring your clothes and I'll hem them, or I'll like that would be a really cool niche to get into. Yeah. So if you're a seamstress and you're trying to, but I think like actually like designing like commission based or like custom stuff is probably something we wouldn't do because we would fear that it would like impact another designer, you know, something like it's a little bit harder to control.
What if you're like a designer, like you make clothes, like a seamstress that makes clothes?
Yeah, I don't think that, it's harder to vet that. I think it'd be really cool to find. And also kind of like back to our, like we're just like at capacity for the artisans in general. So I think that if that were to come up, it would be really cool to prioritize it like when we have the space for it, which like may or may not happen eventually. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, someone that does like alterations and someone that can fix shoes too, like that would be.
That'd be great. Yeah, shoe fixer, alteration, like yeah, that'd be really cool. I like that. Yeah. Good idea. We're planting seeds.
Okay. Ooh, what happens if concerns are raised about the vendor?
Like from a customer or from another vendor? From either. Yeah. I hear it out and give everybody a chance, let everybody be heard, but I never act until I have all the information. And I try not to like blow things up too, because a lot of times when people are complaining about an interaction or a vendor or a vendor's products, etc., it's usually like heightened emotions in the moment. They want to express themselves, which is really important. So I'll give them the space to do that, learn what I need to learn from them. I'll go to the other party, learn what I need to learn from them. And a lot of the times, not a lot of action needs to be taken. A lot of the times it's just, you know, people wanting to express themselves, which is just as important. But yeah, in like situations with like products, like people talking about like, oh, I saw this, like if it's like vendor to vendor, I saw this person has the same product as me. I run into that with like food vendors a lot. Like sometimes honey gets duplicated, sometimes meat gets duplicated. A lot of it is just learning more. Like, okay, are you selling out every day? What were your sales on this day that other vendor was there? Let me ask them the same thing. Let me evaluate traffic the next 2 markets where I have you both there. Let me get more information before I make a really big decision that's going to impact either of your businesses. So yeah, I think back to most things, just stay calm, get as much information as I can, and then act once I have all of it. For sure.
I love that, because you do have like vendors that are the same. What happens like if someone has been with you for a long time and they like bring things that maybe are not handmade?
That's tough because like, yeah, like senioritis is a thing and you get like super comfortable and then you're like, oh, maybe I can get this past the teacher type of thing. And I joke about that because I know my lovely loyal vendors who do that and I'm calling you out sillily. But just transparent conversation. I think too, it's hard, like the longer a vendor is there, the more I'm blind to like what they have. So luckily our community is super kind and respectful and they don't take advantage of me in that way for the most part. But sometimes, you know, people will try to slip in something and I'm pretty, you know, as good as I can be about, hey, I see you have this, take it off the shelf. A lot of times I'll just approach it with like a jokey energy and then follow up with like a more formal email. Like, hey, I'm glad we got to touch base about this today. Like in the future, I can't have you.
So you get like, you tell them like, they get like a
warning type of thing. See how they respond. And then it's never like, I never really need to like crack down the whip. Like it's never super high stakes, but yeah.
So what can you do that it's so bad to get you out the market? Like if I was like, what thing I can do to get kicked out of the market?
You know, I've never had to, except for the verbal altercation. Really, yeah. If you show up and you are respectful and you're trying your best to sell your stuff, like, everything else can be talked about. I think if you initially get approved, you're already at the standard that we want you to be, and then you just maintain that and we check in and touch base with each other. But yeah, I mean, the only time we've ever had to 86 a vendor was for that one verbal altercation. So yeah, just show up and be kind.
That's great. That's
totally.
Because sometimes I feel guilty to not park where I'm supposed to park. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get kicked out now. It's like,
and those things are that's from a management perspective, it's good to be on top of, and it's good to remind people, but it's never something that's ever gonna I'm never gonna have a day where every single vendor listens to my rules, because that's not how humans work.
That's I think that what makes it so great, because you really have these okay, I understand humans on a human level.
Yeah.
I don't have super high expectations of someone that I'm not even friends with to follow rules.
Realistic. I like that.
Realistic about it.
Totally. And we're all adults too. I don't like being told what to do. You know what I mean? I don't, and I know that other people feel the same way. So respecting that and honoring that, and you can cheat the parking thing every now and then.
No, I think I'm such a rule follower. I also have this fear of doing illegal things. So,
maybe that's good for the balance, right? Yeah.
So for me, I don't think, if I do something wrong, I'll definitely come to you right away and hey, just
that's what my job's for, nip it in the butt. Yeah.
I don't like to carry guilt. Are you hot? Because I know I don't really see them. So
I'm
you're
good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I know
I'm
you're
chilling.
Really cold.
What time is it?
It's 1:21.
Perfect. I have to be out of here by 1:45.
Okay.
I have to be somewhere at 2.
Okay.
This is great. No, I'm at a good temp. My bevy is perfect.
You want another drink?
I think I'm good.
You sure?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So, things that I've seen around from when I started to now, I've seen a lot of successful vendors. Can you tell me a story that got you inspired, that you about one of the vendors there?
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many good examples. I think Beloved's bread is it's the go-to example, right? I don't know Zach's full story, but just in my context and from what I've seen, my very first market that I hung out with my sister at the McKinley Center, that really snowy November that I was talking about, Beloved showed up. They just had one 10 by 10 tent, one rack of bread, and the whole thing fell over and tumbled in the entire parking lot. They lost all of their inventory for the day. I think they had a couple loaves that survived, and everybody just was standing around looking so defeated. The next week they came back, and I've never seen a bread line so long in my entire life. That's when I was whoa, people can really make a living doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Beloved, so that was 2023. They opened their storefront in 2025, I think, maybe 2024. But just just from working markets, pumping it out at 5 farmers markets a week for years, Zach was able to establish an amazing storefront that's on Plum in the Reno public market. And now everybody knows Beloved's bread. Beloved's bread is quintessential Reno food. And I feel the farmers market was a really big part of that for them. I hope so, at least.
No, it was big time. That's what they were doing. They were doing the Riverside, they were doing the one in California.
Yeah. Crazy, yeah. And baking bread is no joke. The timing and the nuance to all of that. So I'm really, really proud to be, to have them. And still, I was nervous. I was oh, they opened their storefront, they're on to bigger and better things, but they're still rooted in the farmers markets.
And there's still a line.
There's still a line.
Yeah.
And it's, if anything, it's longer. It's incredible. And I think that the fact that they are still involved in the community so much is a huge part of their success. They didn't say hey, I'm just going to use this as my startup money and then move on from here. They have made it a point to stay involved. So I think that's the best success story for sure.
Yeah. Time. I love their story too. I feel they were such a good example of how you can thrive in such a small town and community based. Yeah. And it's just a great business concept that they have.
Totally. Yeah. Everything from I'm obsessed with their new design work too, their new body. Now that they're more established, it's so cool to see it all come to fruition. They're the type of bakery that I think one day everybody's gonna be, nationally recognized at some point, for sure. And
even if it's not, it's just being locally recognized
is even more powerful for sure. So I think that it proves that farmers markets are a really, really powerful thing for small businesses. Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's we're this is all about this town, and it's just the Riverside Farmers Market. It's a big part of what this town is.
It's so cool. It really is in the veins of a lot of what makes Reno Reno, for sure. I think if you're like new to Reno or you're like visiting and looking for stuff to do, like coming to the Riverside Farmers Market is like the best way to see like what we have to offer, for sure.
I've seen these like TikToks with people that are like 5 things to do in Reno as a tourist, and there's like Riverside Farmers Market.
Yes, I love that.
Big time, yeah,
totally.
Like, if you're going to like, let's say, go to Morocco or like some European country, that's what you do. You go to the farmers markets. They have like bazaars and stuff like that, and I feel like this should be part of the experience in a town when you go visit.
I love
and
that.
when you live here, because it's like you are getting fed by the things that are grown in this town. And it's
and then at the same time, it's like a hub for local regulars, you know, who live like a block away from the park. It's like all ends of the spectrum. Pretty cool.
Yeah, you get to know everyone that lives here and like that are creating in here, and it's just so many good things that are happening.
I love that.
Okay, so I have it's called a rapid fire according to ChatGPT.
Boom, boom, boom.
Favorite local business?
Oh my God. I have so many favorite local businesses. Like is there a category? Just like any local business?
Food, let's say food.
Besides the Riverside Farmers Market, the Great Basin Food Co-op I love because it has a lot of the same goals as our program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, how about clothes?
Clothes, I had like never purchased clothes. I'm a big thrifter, so either I love like St. Vincent de Paul, like the St. Vincent on Glendale, like that's my jam, and then just like asking my friends for clothes.
Nice. Do you ever go to like clothes shopping?
No, I've never been to one, but Haggle House, one of our vendors, does them frequently, so I need to check them out.
And the ways to shop too.
Oh yeah, they do. They collab with Haggle House, so I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Favorite market snack?
Actually, Beloved's bread. Like I think they're like I forget, like just like the pastry pockets. There's like a sausage and cream cheese one, and it's so good.
Is it a masala something?
It's like the same vibe, but the filling is sausage and cream cheese instead.
Okay.
It is so good.
Nice.
For sure.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Coffee. And I don't
sorry,
like
I didn't get
unsweetened coffee. Oh no, I was already so caffeinated when I showed up. It was probably for the better.
Okay, so do you get your coffee like 4 a.m. in the morning before you go to?
Yeah, Ryan with No City Coffee, pretty much every Sunday, I'll be like setting up and he just like hands me an Americano because he's the best. So yeah.
Nice. Biggest pet peeve as a market manager?
No tent weights. If you don't have tent weights, what are you doing? Just put them on. It takes 2 minutes. I know it's a little bit of weight, but put them on.
Big time. Same. Like if a vendor next to me doesn't have weights,
Oh my gosh.
that's like, are you new? I'm like, I'm trying to be friendly here.
Emma!
Most underrated thing vendors should do?
Put yourself out there and like talk to your customers a little bit more. I see a lot of vendors kind of like hide behind their booth and thinking that like giving people space is helpful, but in my experience, and I'm still a spring chicken, immediately being like, hey, how are you? And engaging with your customer is
big time.
Huge.
That's like me from a vendor's perspective. Those are my biggest sales. Like if I'm not caffeinated and I can't talk and I can't even say hi to people, that's how I'm gonna have a slow day today.
Totally, because they pick up on that energy. I 100% believe in that.
They are definitely buying the story too. So if you're keeping telling the story about how you make your product, how like what you have in your product, how like you achieve that or where you got your source, your materials, everything. Like they want to listen to the story. And the more you tell your story to the person that comes here, but the more chances they're gonna buy something.
Totally, because then they're gonna hang this up in their house and like tell other people that story, and then those people are gonna come to the market. And I know this sounds cheesy, but that's literally how it works, like for sure. So yeah, talk to your customers for sure.
Big time. One thing every applicant should know.
You might not hear back and it might take a long time, and I'm sorry. I love you all. Like I have nothing but love to give, but I am one human. I on average get 320 emails ish a week, and those are either applicant inquiries, musician inquiries, like collaboration inquiries. So like I love you. I'm reading all of the applications. I just can't reply to everything for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I'm trying my best. No, it's good. It's like an amazing problem to have.
It is, but it's like one person that replies to the emails, right?
Totally, yeah. It's just little Emma over here.
Is there anything that I should have asked and didn't ask?
No, dude, you are thorough as heck. This is awesome. I can't wait to see it. When's it gonna be all edited?
Well, I'm gonna try to edit today or tomorrow.
Send it to me when you finish it.
Do you want to see it posted, or you want me to send it beforehand?
See it posted. Send it, girl.
Okay.
You're the pro. No, this was like, thank you for having me. This was really special. I also love this space. I feel like this is my dream home. Low-key.
Thank you for coming and sharing the story and the story of the Riverside.
Of course, dude. You put so much work into this. This is badass. You're amazing. I need one of those cupcakes, though.
Yeah,
for
let's
real.
go. Let's go.
I want